So often, game developers try to deliver meditative, relaxing experiences in VR, but in doing so they fail to deliver an engaging gameplay loop, leaving us with forgettable titles like self-proclaimed Vacation Simulator Perfect or Mind Labyrinth VR, which felt like a game that lost funding after only completing the environments and music. So when a game like Winds and Leaves comes along, by developer Trebuchet of Prison Boss VR fame, that hangs its hat on the premise of planting trees, well, it shouldn't come as any surprise that I was a little wary to say the least. The term flora builder brings to mind, let's admit it, something really boring. Meditative and relaxing, perhaps, but still really boring. And with that one sentence, I've pretty much summed up my thoughts on the first hour of Winds and Leaves. It drops you into the game, teaches you how to get around, and then says, go forth, plant trees, and explore. And suffice it to say that if I wasn't reviewing Winds and Leaves, I probably would have ditched and said, nope, this isn't for me. But let's back up a little bit and talk about some of the gameplay. The developers wanted to make this game as immersive as possible, but with every appreciated effort to do so, I felt like the potential wasn't ever quite fully realized. Let me explain. The primary way to get around in this world is by walking on stilts. But you don't grab the stilts and move them one-to-one in real time. Instead, you hold the move buttons down and do a little shuffle with your hands to tell the game to move you forward. Another example is when you're climbing trees. First, you only need to be in the relative vicinity of the tree, and don't even need to climb the trunk itself. And when you reach out and perform the act of climbing, the game exaggerates your climb for you, so you can move twice as far with half the effort. I get that all of this is supposed to be helpful to the player and less strenuous, but ultimately, it comes off as feeling a little bit sloppy. I also experienced a bunch of crashes when playing for review, and while this has been improved in the Day 1 patch, it's still an issue. Luckily, the game autosaves frequently, so it's not as big of a problem as it could be. Plus, the developers are aware that this is happening, and are working to fix it. So if it wasn't already abundantly obvious, I've been setting you guys up for a major twist in this review, where everything suddenly comes together and Winds and Leaves starts to earn its score of 7.8 out of 10. So what happens? Do you get guns? Do aliens invade? Do the plants become zombies and you suddenly realize that you've been planting the seeds of your own destruction? No, although that last one does sound really cool. What does happen though is that you kind of settle into the monotony and make peace with the low-res environment and let the feeling of harmony and prosperity that the art style and soundtrack help convey wash over you as you trudge through this barren land and slowly bring it back to life. TLDR, the gameplay loop, is just satisfying. It scratches an itch that you didn't even know needed to be scratched. It's pleasant. So here's how everything works. You head out and explore, but you start losing HP the second you venture too far away from vegetation. So the easy solution to that is to dig a quick hole with your shovel, plant some fruit, and then take out your magical little time travel device, and voila, you've got a tree, and likely quite a bit of grass surrounding it. And you do this over and over and over until you reach the next area where you can recharge your HP bar. You bring some windmills back to life, discover new types of fruit to plant, and make sure that your new fruits can grow in the new soil types that you discover. And if not, you combine the fruits to satisfy the conditions of the soil. It does get more complicated than that when snow, rain, and tornadoes enter the equation, but that's the general idea. And along the way, you'll even discover some new powers that help you cover long distances, giving those old stilts some much needed rest. Winds and Leaves isn't the kind of game you want to rush through. A straight shot through the game will take about 7 or 8 hours, but there's enormous satisfaction to be gained here by taking your time. Bringing every dead tree back to life, finding every fruit, observing all the cave paintings, and being thorough in general will take a bit longer. But that's kind of what Winds and Leaves is all about.